You've been told that loyalty gets rewarded, that if you show up, work hard, and give everything, the company will take care of you. That's not loyalty. That's compliance dressed up in nicer language. And the people who designed this system know exactly what they're doing. You stay late, not because anyone asked, but because you want to be seen as someone who cares. You skip the competing job offer because leaving feels like betrayal. You defend the company in conversations you shouldn't even be having. You absorb the extra workload when a colleague leaves without asking for more pay because you believe this is what a team player does. You've made the company's survival a personal identity. When someone criticizes your employer, it stings, personally. You've crossed the line between employee and believer, and that's exactly where they need you to be. Here's what's actually happening. The company doesn't see loyalty the way you do. You see loyalty as a relationship, a two-way bond. They see it as a cost structure. When you stay late without being asked, you've just told them you'll give more than you're paid for. When you skip the other offer, you've removed yourself from the market and made yourself cheaper to keep. When you absorb the extra work without negotiating, you've just set a new baseline. That's your new normal now. Every act of loyalty you perform, unprompted, is data, and the data tells them this person can be held at current terms. You thought you were building trust. You were actually setting your own ceiling. Understand what a company actually is. It's not a family. It's not a team in the way sports teams are. It's a legal structure designed to generate returns. The people inside it, including your manager, including HR, are also inside the same system. They have their own metrics, their own performance reviews, their own pressure. When the quarter is bad, sentiment doesn't show up on a spreadsheet. Your years of dedication don't offset a budget shortfall. This isn't cynicism. This is how the incentive structure works. The company's primary loyalty is to its survival. Everything else, culture, values, people-first language, is downstream of that. Now, here's the psychology that makes this work so cleanly on you. They don't ask for your loyalty directly. That would be too obvious. Instead, they create conditions that make loyalty feel like your own idea. Culture decks, mission statements, values posters on the wall. We're building something special here. You're not just an employee, you're part of the family. These aren't lies exactly, they're frames, carefully constructed environments that make you feel belonging, purpose, identity. And once you feel belonging, you start protecting it. You start policing yourself on their behalf. You work harder, you stay quieter when something's wrong. You rationalize decisions that don't serve you. Because leaving now would mean the story you told yourself wasn't true. And people will do almost anything to avoid that realization. Here's where this path leads. You spend 3, 4, 5 years being excellent, quietly, internally, loyally. You become deeply good at things that only matter inside that specific company. Your skills become specialized to their systems, their culture, their way of doing things. Meanwhile, the market moves. Your industry changes, new tools emerge, other professionals are building portfolios, expanding networks, getting visible in the field. You were heads down, loyal. And then one day, a restructuring, a merger, a new executive who wants to bring in their own people. It's nothing personal. That's actually true. That's the part that should disturb you. It's not personal because it was never personal. You made it personal. They never did. And now you're outside, with a resume that's deep in one direction, 5 years of experience that's hard to translate, and a professional network that quietly atrophied while you were being a team player. This is the real cost of loyalty. Not betrayal, not drama, just quiet, compounding irrelevance on your own time. There's a distinction that almost nobody talks about, the difference between performance and visibility. Inside a loyal employee's mind, performance is everything. Do the work, do it well, results will speak. But organizations don't run on results alone. They run on narratives. Who gets promoted isn't always the most competent person. It's the person whose competence is known, contextualized, and legible to decision makers. You can be exceptional and invisible at the same time. And if you're invisible inside your own company, you're invisible to the entire market. Loyalty, the way most people practice it, keeps you focused inward, on doing, on delivering, on being reliable. But reliability is a floor, not a ceiling. You don't get rewarded for reliability. You get kept. Reward requires leverage. Leverage requires options. Options require visibility. The people who move fast in their careers aren't the most loyal. They're the most legible. Their value is obvious to multiple parties at the same time. That's not disloyalty. That's understanding how value actually moves. Here's the harder question. What if you've been optimizing for approval and calling it loyalty? What if the staying late, the extra effort, the defending the company in conversations, what if that's not dedication? What if it's a strategy for feeling safe? Because when you're loyal, you're never the one who left. You're never the one who risked. You're never the one who chose yourself over the institution. And that feels morally comfortable. But comfort isn't the same as wisdom. The employee who leaves for a better opportunity isn't disloyal. They're reading the contract correctly. Employment was always transactional. You exchanged time and skill for money and experience. The moment you turned that transaction into a moral identity, you handed over power you didn't need to give. You've been measuring yourself against a standard they set for reasons that serve them. And the most dangerous part? You enforced it yourself. No one had to pressure you. The culture did the work. You became the system's most efficient component, a self-managing, self-motivating, self-policing asset. None of this means stop caring about your work. Care deeply about the craft. Be excellent. Be reliable. But keep the receipts. Maintain the network, not for escape, but because professional visibility is just professional health. Know what your skills are worth outside the room you're currently in. Negotiate, not as aggression, but as self-respect. Let your loyalty be proportional, not to how much you feel for the company, but to how well the arrangement actually serves you. The moment the math changes for them, they'll adjust without guilt. You should be able to do the same. That's not cynicism, that's parity. The company didn't lie to you. Not exactly. They created a story, and you chose to live inside it because it gave you something: belonging, purpose, identity, safety. Those aren't small things, but they were never unconditional. They were always contingent on your continued usefulness. The uncomfortable truth isn't that companies are evil, it's that they're logical. And somewhere along the way, you stopped being logical about yourself. You gave a professional relationship the emotional weight of a personal one, and then were surprised when it behaved like a professional relationship. The problem isn't that they replaced you. The problem is that you were never building something that couldn't be replaced. You were building loyalty, and loyalty, without leverage, is just another word for waiting.